Well, today we're going to catch you up and we're going to do the second half of the video we started the other day. We were in the pickup truck and I told you we were going to talk about things we'd accomplished, and then we were going to go on to prospects for the future. And I also mentioned how hard it is to make good YouTube videos. So I get halfway through what I was going to tell you, and I took notes so I would be able to get it all in order. And Graham gives me the cutoff sign. Well, his phone was full and it could not eat another bite. So in this video that was going to be twice as long, and I told you videoing's hard, well, sure enough, it bit us. So we're going to finish that today. Today we're going to talk about prospects, work that we've lined up, a job that we almost got and lost. But first, a couple things. If you watch behind me, you might see a deer. It's a buck. It's probably a 6-point buck, like a teenage buck, that the guys have seen here. It literally walked up to one of the guys. And it's like, well, what? The deer's asking, what are you guys doing here? Well, they nicknamed it Buck Buck. But you know, I want Buck Buck to be safe, but to go somewhere else. Because from here on out, we are the ones responsible for making the Buck Bucks here. I'm not talking about brown buck bucks. I'm talking about the green buck bucks. So before I tell you about the work we've lined up and the job we missed, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever seen a pitch pipe? Now, I'm not talking pitchfork. I imagine most of you have used a pitchfork. And I'm not talking about a crack pipe. Hopefully none of y'all have used a crack pipe, but a pitch pipe. A pitch pipe is used to tune an instrument, and I had one that had 4 pipes on it. It was out of my father's violin case, and you would tune the 4 strings of the violin with it. It stays constant. The pitch pipe stays constant. You tune to the pitch pipe, and I'm going to bring that back up again in a little bit here. So I want to tell you about the job that we lost. There was a company that had to unload a huge transformer near, they had to unload it off the rail car, which was like a 12-axle depressed center, very heavy duty car. Unload it off of that onto an SPMT, a multi-axle trailer, and then take it the rest of the way by truck. Well, they really liked our location. This would have been very, very good. And they wanted to work with us. And I really enjoyed talking with the guy, but where we would have done it, the ground was too soft. We still haven't fixed the gauge problems and the drainage problem, which I'll update you on. But what I wanted to tell you was that while we were talking to this guy about the transformer, I heard the pitch pipe. Talking to this guy just felt really good. When you hear the pitch pipe for what you're doing and what you're working on in your life, you hear it, you go, yeah, I really like this. And trying to get that job, unloading the transformer, now they would have unloaded it. We would have provided the terminal railway, the end spot for the load. It sounded good and it felt good. And I thought, you know what? I really like this. Now, as it turns out, it was almost impossible that we got the job because of the other end and because of where we would have unloaded it. We don't have documentation in place we need, but I'm just saying, I worked hard on getting the deal and I like the feeling. That's what I'm saying. The pitch pipe, I could hear it. Yes, this feels good. I like it. I went to another state the day before yesterday to look at some railroad cars that would need modified to be used in a lease fleet. And you know, I think I'm going to back away from that idea. We would bring the cars here to modify them, the railroad cars here to modify them. They would take a lot of modification, but you know what? We got young, willing, anxious people, and we work hard and fast. I thought it might work, but now I'm not sure of that. We do have a group of 6 tank cars that are looking for a place to go into storage. Part of the problem with tank cars is it scares people because of what has been carried in a tank car. Oil, petroleum, acid. They just think the worst when you say tank car. But these have been purged, which I think boiling water and steam, they purge the car. They're perfectly clean. I'll keep you updated on that. The other one is I was trying to think, could we unload telephone poles here? So I was calling places on the West Coast, you know, where a lot of tall trees are grown and made into telephone poles. Ironically, it's done down south too, as I learned. But anyway, a guy said to me, can you store dragline mat, which is timber mats bolted together, used like at a power line when you're going to be in marshy ground. You put down these dragline mats or these mats so trucks can drive on them. It's just like you build this temporary road out of these. When you're done with the job, you pull them all back up. Well, they need us to unload them and store them. Now, they would come in and out on tractor trailers, so it's not rail related, other than it would help support the business. We would do it on a small gravel lot that we have, and we would get our foot in the door. He said eventually he as well would like to unload telephone poles here, so I'll keep you up to date on that. Do I always hear the pitch pipe? Oh, do I always hear the pitch pipe? That will need cut, but keep rolling. This, we're going to take the transit down to the other end. The government entity told us that the repair for the drainage was on us, that when it was put in, it was right. It's not been maintained. The culvert does go under the rail. We couldn't find it. We do see it now. So we're going to go down and find out what's level, what's true, where we need to dig, how the slope of the trench. Does the pitch pipe always ring true when you're working? No. Let me give you an example. I got here the other day, wasn't real happy. Let me show you what the guys did on a project, and it's something that we've talked about. I stood here and looked at this. It was like, if you're gonna saw it flush with the ground. So I'm gonna give you my imitation. This is a 2-inch sapling. So here's Paul Bunyan. Look at me. Am I amazing? What about this? Look down through here. This one, they cut 4 pieces off instead of just going down there and cutting it flush with the ground. So whoever did this has all got to be done again. And I'm sure Graham will see to it and he'll make it right. When I work with him, the pitch pipe makes me go, yeah, he's a great son. Like and subscribe. Thank you all. Graham, if you do that again, I'll take you out of the will. What we're doing here today is checking level on the ditch. It goes under the tracks up there in a big culvert, but our problem is that the water comes out of the pond right over there and floods down into our area. So what we want to do is take some transit readings, see what is going to have a slope adequate to get that water all out of here. Now, it was originally designed this way. We found out on some old drawings. That's how it was designed. That's how we're going to try and return it. We got the rocket scientists on it over here, and we're learning about surveying. So I think we're done surveying. The old surveying equipment didn't work very well, but what we determined was the ditch looks like it does run downhill, which is to the north. Now all this water over here, of course, water finds its level, and we jokingly thought we'd call this the water level route, which for you railroad people, you know that's the old New York Central up on Lake Erie. This is the water level route. We don't want any of this water here. We're gonna have to dam up and get that water headed north because this is just too wet. Speaking of water level route, did you see what I did earlier with Graham's phone couldn't take another bite? Get it? B-I-T-E. And Bucks. Sometimes I'm just on fire. Like and subscribe. Merry Christmas.